I'm looking at your FM24 saves again today, and I'm once again in awe at the ingenuity and the dedication for some of these Football Manager saves. The first one, the first line just says, I completed the Pentagon challenge. And that might just be one of the biggest flexes ever, at least in a Football Manager context. Less so in the real world, I suppose. Anyway, let's get into it. I completed the Pentagon save. Not my words, the words of Carter. Now, this is Carter's save. We are in the year 2039. It feels relatively quick to have completed the Pentagon. He's also at Atletico, which means he's done it around the world first and then come to Europe. He describes his save as the following. I won 4 quadruples, and it's special because I started out with no badges. It was special because when I got my first CONCACAF Champions League final and lost, I gave up on the save for about 6 months. So before we finish off his description here, I just want to see, this is his career in total. So he's been in South Africa, goes to the MLS for a season and sort of doesn't do anything there. Mexico, then Japan, then Brazil, then back to Mexico. Then he comes to Europe where he is in Liga and then the Bundesliga. And then I assume he wins it with Atletico Madrid here. So when he's talking about losing a CONCACAF final, he's probably talking about this first spell in Mexico perhaps, because he doesn't win it with Chivas, and then he goes to Asia, and then he comes back to Mexico to try and win that CONCACAF Champions League. So he has gone through and won them. I've just checked them on here. So he's in South Africa. He ends up at Kaizer Chiefs eventually, which is where he wins his African Champions League. Then he has this spell in the MLS and Mexico where he doesn't win it. Then he goes to Asia. He goes to Japan, wins the Asian Champions League in 2031 there. Then he goes to Brazil for literally a season and wins the Copa Libertadores. So that's 4 at that stage. No, is that 3 at that stage? Then eventually he goes back to Mexico for his second team in Mexico, America. He wins it here, look, the North American Champions League. And then finally, I assume this last season is when he wins the Champions League with Atletico Madrid. So he does go and do it. I love the fact that he's had some real turmoil to get there. He gave up on the save for 6 months, he says. When I came back, I was committed to finishing it. So I left the CONCACAF and came back before I went to Europe. What was special was bringing some of the players around the world with me. Love that. That is something that I am very much guilty of doing as well. He says Daniel Salazar, who is his midfielder / winger at Atletico Madrid, is a Mexican player and was with him at Chivas. Look, he went to Liverpool and now he's brought them back to Atletico Madrid. That is fun. He says, Salazar is someone I had at Chivas, helped me win the Champions League. Zainalov helped me at Kobe and was fantastic. Here's Zainalov, now at Leipzig, and yeah, was at Kobe before that, so that's fun. From Azerbaijan as well, which is always fun when you get the obscure nations wonder kids, and this guy's turned into a pretty decent player, hasn't he? He then goes on to explain a couple of Spanish players who he thinks will go and lead Spain to another World Cup in this save if he keeps playing it. He also adds at the end, I tried being a national team coach as well, but I didn't enjoy it. And do you know what, Carter? Fair enough. Fair play for completing the Pentagon. It is something that I've not actually ever attempted. Is that a YouTube video I need to make? Let me know in the comments down below. I feel like it's a sort of rite of passage, isn't it? And going full time, I feel like maybe I need to go and try the Pentagon. I don't know. I'm thinking about it though, chat. Let me know. What tactic was he using? He was literally using a 4-2-3-1. Very basic looking as well, which I almost respect a little bit more. I want to go and see his manager page before we do continue. Overview of his manager page here. There is only 8% on holiday. Fair enough. There is 695 games played. And in that time, you've won all 5 of the major continental competitions. That's actually a pretty good hit rate, isn't it? Fair play. Thank you, Carter, for sharing your save. Let's move on to our second save. Oh, before we do move on to our second save, quick one from me. We are still aiming for 100,000 subscribers. We are getting very, very, and increasingly so, very close. Please do support. If you're not already subscribed and you're enjoying this video, it would help me out massively if you could hit the subscribe button. Leave a like on the video too, because it does genuinely actually help. And let me know which your favourite save is out of the ones that we're having a look at today. Maybe Carter's Pentagon save takes your fancy. Let me know in the comments. And let's move through to save number 2. And that save is courtesy of Wilf. Wilf here is manager of Slavia Sofia. Now, I wanted to share this one with you because honestly, the description that he sent in with it had me in stitches. It's either brilliant ChatGPT work or he is the ultimate supervillain. Now, I'm going to read this, and Editor Tom, I feel like you should put some dramatic music in behind it for its full effect. Okay? It says,
in 2041, I stand at the peak of Bulgarian football managing Slavia Sofia, having secured 16 consecutive league titles. My team's dominance is unparalleled, losing no more than a single match each season.
No, hang on, just to pause the dramatic reading. I just want to check this. Losing no more than one match per season. He loses in the Champions League phase there against Chelsea. Do you know what? He's correct. That is just one match. And there's a loss there in the league against Levski Sofia. There's two lots. No, it's a friendly. I suppose it's not going to. He lost in the Champions League as well. Maybe he's talking about league. I tried to catch him out there because he is this supervillain, but that is quite impressive, actually, isn't it? He's winning a lot of games. What's his tactic? Again, it's just the 4-2-3-1. Tiki-taka as well. Anyway, back to the dramatic reading.
Every year I refine my tactics, adapting to challenges while maintaining the same level of intensity and precision that has become my trademark.
Do you know what, Wilf? I believe you on that. Intensity, I'm getting vibes of intensity as well, based on this.
The Bulgarian First League, once fiercely competitive, now feels like my personal domain, with every club trying to mirror my success. My influence goes far beyond the pitch. Many of my former players have become key figures on the national team and in coaching, continuing my legacy. I've shaped an era where my tactical decisions are dissected by aspiring managers, and my team's style is the standard from which others strive. Each season, I add another title to my collection, and as time goes on, it feels like the footballing landscape of Bulgaria will forever be marked by my reign.
Do you see what I mean, though? That is actually outrageous. He's not even finished. He also says, P.S. Check Ronaldo and Neymar. I feel like he's gone away from his intense vibe a little bit there just by saying, have a look at Ronaldo and Neymar. Neymar's the Chernomore. Is that even a real tip? Why is there no capital letter? That's annoyed me. Chernomore Varna. Okay. He also finishes by saying, PPS, editor only used to edit subrule. Again, kind of, you lost the intensity a bit there with the PSs and the PPS. But you know what, Wilf? Fair play, outrageous save. Just read that and drink it in. What's the note? I'm always intrigued by people who use notes in Football Manager. The note on here is just the board announced a new stadium. We'll go ahead. Oh, it's been named after him as well. What a flex. He's actually right, you know. The footballing landscape of Bulgaria will forever be marked by his reign. Next save. Save number 3 has been submitted by Anton. Now, this is how he describes this save. He says, hey, Clayts, this is my favourite. Already, that's a less intense start to the message, to be fair. Hey, Clayts, this is my favourite ever save. Still ongoing. I started in the Berlin League, which is the lowest German amateur league. Now, let's have a look at that history here. He started with Empor Berlin in the German Berlin League, which is, yeah, it's got, I mean, it's the one that has Inter Berlin in there. And, yeah, it's pretty low down. Empor Berlin are here, look. We are in 2038, by the way, in Anton's save here. He goes on to say that he started with no coaching badges at SV Empor Berlin and then won it. He then used the editor to move himself to SV Lichtenberg, which is this team here, the team that he played for in his childhood in a division I got promoted to where the save really began. So he starts the save here. So he moves himself. So he moved himself using the editor and then started the save properly in the German Division Northeast North. And then from there, you can see his rise up through the leagues with Lichtenberg before eventually getting himself now where he is now in the Bundesliga. So the save is ongoing, but the thing that I found most interesting and the reason that I'm sharing it with you is that he has imposed a transfer restriction on himself to only sign players that were born in Berlin. So if I go to his signings here, all of his transfers in should have been born in Berlin, which they are. Holger Foth comes through at Hertha Berlin. You'll notice, and he mentions this as well, he's basically relying on Union's and Hertha's youth setups to give him players. So here in 2038, he's made it to the Bundesliga. He's currently on track to avoid relegation, which would be the greatest achievement in my small club's history. The biggest club legends are right back and captain Holger Wagner. Now we need to find Holger Wagner, I think, based on that. Has he retired? Is he still here? I couldn't find him when I just looked for him. Holger Wagner, he is still here. This is the club legend who has played 259 times for the club. Very nice indeed. He then goes on to talk about a couple of other players and he says that he's upset that they're going to leave at the end of the season. Now, I really respect this. Can I show it on here? If I insert a column and can I do general place of birth? I can. It should show that they are all born in Berlin. Even this guy who's born in Bernau bei Berlin, which I assume is Bernau bei Berlin. That shows that he's stuck to his task here. He's managed to build a team, not only from one nation, which is something that I've done quite a lot, but from one city. This is something that I've been playing around as an idea to do as a YouTube video. Let me know what would be a really cool save to do where I only sign players from that city. Let me know in the comments down below, because that is a save that I feel like is right up my street, and this one's right up my street, which is why I wanted to share it with you today. Great work, Anton. I hope that you continue. I hope you do go and get yourselves maybe some Bundesliga titles and go on and win the Champions League with your Berlin players. That'd be really cool, wouldn't it? Maybe you can give us an update and let us know how you've been doing since. You've got time to go and play it now with the cancellation of FM25, haven't you? So small win for Anton, even if we don't get a game, but I'm sure Anton's happy. Anyway, next save. This save has been submitted by Jonty. Now, Jonty's been doing a Wrexham save. Now, I had to share one of the Wrexham saves because, honestly, on this save submission form, there were in the tens the number of Wrexham saves that were on there. He actually mentions that he started this save because of the Wrexham documentary on Netflix, and then apologises for his poor grammar because English isn't his first language, which just makes me think, it just tells me the effect that these documentaries can have on a club. Like, Wrexham have gone to the stratosphere because of the documentary and obviously because of the investment and everything around it, whether you appreciate and like that going on anyway. Oh, look, he's actually got the Josh Burke Arena. This must be a time. So he's called his manager Josh Burke. I don't know if that's based on his name or not. This really must bug him. It would really bug me, the idea that he didn't use a capital letter. So he's not used a capital letter for his name. So it's capitalized the first letter of the stadium, but not the surname. So that's really annoying me. I'd go into the config files and edit this myself just to make sure that I had a capital letter. I'd also nickname myself so that I had capital letters in my name, but that's just me. Maybe that's some type of disorder manifesting itself, actually, to be honest. Anyway, the reason that I wanted to show you this save is because not only did he take Wrexham and turn them into a great team, he has been able to win the Champions League 8 seasons in a row, which I just think is outrageously good. From 2029-30 until 2036-37, Wrexham have won the Champions League every single year. What tactic is he using? Ooh, wow, that is a weird 4-3-2-1 thing. He's called it the triangle. Also didn't capitalize it here either. Which can we teach Jonty how to use capital letters? That is the former teacher in me definitely coming out, isn't it? Some of these players' star ratings as well, by the way. I just want to have a quick little peek at a few of them. Henri Diallo at right back. Looks like he's quite special. French right back. In fact, let me just do a little scroll through some of these just in case any of them just really jump out as amazing. He's built a really good team here. Are there any Welsh players still in this 11? I mean, maybe Sam Thill. No, he's Belgium. That makes no sense. Darren Williams, he must be Welsh. He is. Okay, we've got a Welsh legend. Wow, 47 goals in 54 games for Wales. How many goals for Wrexham? 76 and 149. 6'5". Right, that is my type of player. Homegrown, massive, great finishing and speedy. Great mental as well. What a player. Love that, Darren Williams. Thank you so much to Jonty for sharing this save. GG's on the 8 back-to-back Champions League wins with Wrexham. Fair play. Let's move on to our final save of today's video. And finally, our last save of today's video has been submitted by Irish Emerald, who, you may have guessed it, has been doing a Build a Nation save in Ireland. I don't think I've featured too many Build a Nation saves in these videos, and it's not something that I've done in years and years. It might be something that I need to revisit. It's sort of a long-term thing. I don't know how that really translates to a video either. It's more like a stream save, that type of thing, isn't it? But I wanted to show you Irish Emerald's one here because I think it's really impressive. He is currently the manager at Galway United, and if you have a look at how he's been doing with them, he's won the league now for lots of years in a row since 2026-27. The year is now 2044. He describes this save as follows. He says, haven't played this save in a while, but my main save was a Build a Nation save in Ireland. I played on a custom database which moved the Irish leagues to a winter schedule and expanded the number of leagues in the country, similar to England's football pyramid. I started with Galway, who were in the first division. The journey from obscurity to making not just the club, but Ireland a centre of European football excellence is what makes this save special. We did sound a little bit like Wilf there in that description.
European football excellence.
Over the course of 20 seasons, we have won 18 league titles, 15 FIA Cups, and 5 Champions Leagues in a row. Okay, we need to check on the Champions Leagues here because that is where it becomes really impressive. 5 Champions Leagues in a row with Galway United. Grant Bowman as the top goal scorer. How good? Oh, my word. Yep. He's annoyingly Scottish, which kind of takes away from the builder nation thing, but he's quite good, isn't he? He goes on to explain that Ireland are now ranked 4th in the European nation coefficients, just behind Italy, Spain and England, and eventually I'm sure he will overtake that. And I assume that Galway themselves, yeah, they're number 1 in the coefficients over the past 5 years. Or are they over 10 years? 3rd as well. So certainly building up Ireland as a nation. Their world ranking is 35th. That's interesting because it's not particularly high. That's interesting that that's not as high yet, but I suppose these things take a really long time, don't they? There's obviously been a lot of improvement, and he's not actually the Ireland manager, and you'd imagine that if he did take over there, he could improve this a bit faster then. But I'm sure this national team is looking a little bit more healthy. Oh, look, we've still got where they were born on here from the last time. I'm sure that there'll be some good players in here just based on what he's been able to do. Porrick Osborne is the most valuable player. Maybe there's a little way to go in terms of these Irish players. He doesn't look quite as worldy as some of the other players that we looked at, does he? Porrick Osborne. Irish Emerald then explains that his main tactic is this 4-3-3, this very basic 4-3-3. And he says some of the main players to look at is the goalkeeper, the centre-back, Kukovic, and finally my Scottish left winger and multiple Ballon d'Or winner, Bowman. Bowman was actually the player we found earlier, so we know how good he is. And I'm happy to see that he's winning all sorts of awards and winning all sorts of things all over the place, which is cool to see. He also says there are roughly 50 players out on loan. And yeah, I thought that might be the case. If I turn off the not at club filter, you can see just how many players are out on loan at other clubs. This puts Chelsea to shame. It almost puts second yellow card to shame, but not quite. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about, don't you? He says there are roughly 50 players out on loan in order to help improve the teams around me in the country. So don't judge the loan farm too harshly. I hope you enjoyed browsing my save and seeing what happens. Thank you so much, Irish Emeralds. Thank you to everyone who has submitted their saves recently. I'm having an absolute blast reading through them and picking out ones to include in videos. I think we might have to do another video, especially because I'm sure there are people watching right now that want to submit their saves. Again, the links to the Google form, which is where you submit your save, you do a bit of a description, put your save file in there so that I can open it up like this. The link to that is in the description of today's video. It's also going to be probably in the pinned comment if I get around to doing that. That is where we'll leave it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, because we'll probably do more videos like this, won't we? Leave a like and let me know what was your favourite save out of the ones that we looked at today. I'm going to go with Wilf's, just because of the way that he described it. That was just so good. I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.